Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. Mark again here, Weatherman Plus. I got new updates that's just coming in for Hurricane Beryl, what the potential could be later down the road, because it's still going right by Jamaica, right by the Cayman Islands and Yucatan. Then it's going to be aiming for the Gulf of Mexico. Thank you so much for your time, everybody. Please make sure if you're in Jamaica, check on your neighbors, check on everyone around you, make sure everybody is alerted to what's going on, because the airport is literally over there by Kingston, and the airport's been closed since midnight, so no one else can get out. So go to the shelters. Make sure you take it very seriously. Matter of fact, I'm hearing that the storm surge is going to be around 9 feet pulling in as it passes by Kingston. So be very careful. This is going to be a very serious storm. New information for you. I'm going to get to it right now. Right now, Major Hurricane Beryl is at 143 miles per hour winds, moving west at 21 miles per hour, not northwest, west. And it has 173 miles per hour wind gusts right now, and expected to have 160 plus miles per hour wind gusts as it passes by Jamaica, as you get in these big 25-foot waves, as you get in all this 9 feet of storm surge, as you get in 120, 140 miles per hour winds coming at you, 160 miles per hour wind gusts as it's coming at you. This is going to be one of your worst, if not the worst, hurricane headed towards you. Please check on your neighbors and make sure they are aware of what's going on around them and they're well prepared. This is not a joke. Latest advisory shows it will re-strengthen right back towards a Cat 2 as it goes towards the Yucatan. You are in a hurricane watch, so still this will become warnings as it gets closer. Also for the Cayman Islands, expecting 115 miles per hour winds, 130 to 140 miles per hour wind gusts as it passes by you also. Plus, once it goes into the Gulf, I have new information that you must know. Now, you can also see here as it pulls through for a chance for a system to form, favors still going towards northern Mexico, but you can also see there is a chance for it still to turn after it goes by Monday and start heading a little bit further towards the east and north in the Gulf. Showing something weak right now, but we all know I've been born and raised around the Gulf in Louisiana and New Orleans. Once something gets into the Gulf, it don't matter what people say, we know this will grow, except for shear and dry air. So I'm going to show you all the layers of the atmosphere as well. Showing the latest on cyclone locations in 4 days, coming off Yucatan, favoring that northward push rather than that southern push. Still, you can see it does curve towards Mexico. It's because we have a front coming in. Not only is it bringing shear on it, this front could also pull these storms to the north, favoring northern Mexico, but we also have a few stragglers that is taking a little bit further towards northern side. Plus, don't forget, we have Invest 96L right behind it, following it right on its heels as well. So the latest on our ensembles, you can see with the automatic tropical cyclone forecast that it is favoring right around 5 days. It could be anywhere from northern Mexico going towards southern Texas. But at the same time, if that trough pulls this system up, it could be pulling a little more into this direction. That's why you're still seeing some of these still showing that. You can see with the Canadian model, it is agreeing right towards that direction also. But if it is northern, the more northern it is, the more northern it's going to be towards Texas. You can also see with the latest with the Euro, also agreeing on that. But also agreeing if it is more northern, it will be more northern in Texas and it will be stronger. All the more major hurricanes potentially coming right back, which is what we will normally see in the Gulf when something gets in there, is showing that northern push. And you can see with the GFS also showing that push, but also showing it could pull around, also intensify. This is because that trough coming in with all that heat bringing to the west coast, all that trough could be pulling that system further to the north. Also showing new information on Hurricane Beryl, showing after it goes into the Gulf, agreement it will be somewhere over here by the western Gulf of Mexico. But you can see literally once it goes past 4 days, almost towards 5 days, it's agreeing right here. Once it gets right here, it can start going on that northward push or that westward push. More ensembles are starting to agree on that northward push. This will be rapid intensification. You even see what I was talking about earlier. Some is showing it could be right along that coast. Now, the latest on the Canadian shows that it will more likely go right in, but you also see that curve showing it could affect more states than just Texas. Also, you can see with the latest with the Euro, showing more like it will go right in there. But if it is northern, where we are expecting it to be so far, the trend to be northern coming off, it could go through that rapid intensification going towards southern Texas, and maybe a little bit of a curve also. We really need to watch this. I think it's going to do something to the north. I think it's going to rapidly intensify because of deep ocean heat content, because of sea surface temperatures, because the wind shear. It's a little bit less according to a lot of the models. Just the Euro is showing that it'll be stronger, and the pull to the north on the trough. When you go by the GFS, you can see it is agreeing that it will make that turn, but it's also agreeing it could rip right up that coast. That is what I'm really believing. Believe me, I don't want this to happen to neither one of y'all over there. I'm from Louisiana my whole life, and I guarantee you, if this happens right here, this would be bad. Showing in 72 hours, more than likely will be a tropical storm after dealing with the Yucatan Peninsula, then re-energizing back to a hurricane. And I waited for the latest update. You can see the latest update on Hurricane Beryl, that as it goes by 84 hours, still expected to go from a tropical storm and start strengthening towards a Cat 1 hurricane once it goes by the Yucatan, starts going into the Gulf. And a lot of models are in agreement now, even the hurricane models, that could potentially be something stronger, which is what we would see in the Gulf of Mexico. Rapid intensification, potentially a Cat 1 towards a Cat 2 or a major hurricane. I believe we will see more of an uptick on this. It all depends on that trough. Now, showing the latest on the hurricane analysis forecast system, it will be going towards Jamaica sometime from 10 o'clock this morning all the way through the afternoon, bringing over 100 and 115 miles per hour winds with it as it goes across, showing that the core potentially will not go onshore. Still, you got a picture. You will still have this onshore flooding of the 9 feet storm surge. All these winds going right towards southern Jamaica as that passes by, and the flooding bringing it all the way to the west, going right towards Cayman Islands, still bringing a lot of very strong winds on you as well. Then as it goes towards Yucatan, it brings more winds towards Yucatan, bringing more of that flooding as well. Be aware of that. Once it comes off the Yucatan, it takes that northern push. Still shows on this model that it goes right in towards Mexico. We have a trough sitting in, putting a little bit of shear on the system, but it's blocking it also while the high pressure is steering it into the Gulf. Now you can see the latest with the Euro also showing the same thing, going right towards Yucatan, a little bit further to the south. Remember, this is going to do some wobbling. And as it comes off Yucatan, it takes it a little bit further to the southern side, not the northern side. Gets hit with that trough, I'll show you. Gets it blocked, and it stays towards Mexico. Then Invest 96L follows right behind it, pretty weak. Now let's keep in mind these waters are very warm and very much above average. So as it intensifies towards the Yucatan Peninsula, when it gets off of the Yucatan, still going into warm waters. But the further north it goes, it comes into a lot warmer waters right along the Gulf Coast of Texas and Louisiana, and you can still see it is well above average over there. So the further north it goes, the more of a threat of an intensification happening towards Texas. Now this is very important. This is your deep ocean heat content taken as of yesterday. And you can see as this storm system starts going by Jamaica, it's going to start tapping to this deep ocean heat content. So not only the warm waters giving it a lot of strength, as is upwelling, as it's rotating and upwelling the temperatures that's deeper than the surface of the sea, of the ocean, that it is bringing more of the warmer temperatures northward instead of cooler temperatures, kind of battling it off a little bit. So the deep ocean heat content will help this storm strengthen, and I think it will be even stronger as it goes towards the Yucatan. The one thing we notice about Beryl being the first earliest Cat 4, Cat 5, do not underestimate this tropical wave with these conditions. I think it will intensify stronger than a Cat 2 as it goes towards the Yucatan, just because of the deep ocean heat content. Also, when it gets off of the Yucatan, goes in the Gulf, look how you have more deep ocean heat content a little bit western in the Gulf of Mexico. So that's not good neither. Now you can see the difference. You see with GFS, it starts intensifying a lot, tapping into not only the sea surface temperatures of deep ocean heat content, but that trough starts pulling it a little further to the north, and it goes through rapid intensification right there, which is expected if you are aware of the Gulf of Mexico, and starts going through rapid intensification to a strong hurricane, goes right towards southern Texas. Now, what I'm seeing is if this is still 5 days away exactly from this point. This trough coming down, pulling this northward. In a few more days, this trough is going to be more like over here rather than right here below Texas. So if it's further towards the east, it will pull this like that direction. And there's a good chance that if it don't get blocked, which is what the Euro is seeing, and go to the west into Mexico, this could rip right up the Gulf Coast, staying in halfway into the Gulf as well, keeping it where even the land interaction would not affect it, and it would stay strong the whole time. On this model run, it shows it goes right in as a very strong hurricane and dissipates. But then you got Invest 96L going in that same direction, getting stronger as it gets closer towards the coast, headed towards northeastern Texas and southwestern Louisiana on that second wave. I think this is possibly what the icon has been seeing, just mixing up, just seeing that energy in that side of the Gulf of Mexico, not really from Beryl, probably from 96L, showing that once it comes off the Yucatan, it would be a little bit weaker, but really going through rapid intensification, and you're looking at a strong Cat 2 or stronger hurricane potentially coming right by Corpus Christi, staying on land still as a hurricane a day later, then weakening down as a tropical depression, tropical storm. Then you got to Invest 96L pushing right to the north. And I believe this would go through some rapid intensification as well. It all depends on the dynamics in the atmosphere. So now you can see the icon model. It takes it to where it comes off the Yucatan further north than any of the other models. Remember, the icon is not good with land interaction. And it starts taking that westward push with that high pressure expanding out. That high pressure weakens. It has weak moments. That's why it starts taking that northward push and that trough pulling this. Now, the icon shows that it could still curve a little bit late and go right towards Houston. That's a possibility. Also, the trend has been a little bit further to the west. But like I was saying a minute ago, it depends where this trough is, where it's going to pull this system. And you got to remember, this trough is moving east, so it'd be very easily to pull this right to the east after that. Now you can see here with your wind shear with the Euro, you can see it does get shear on that system as it starts to get off the Yucatan. You still got that upper level low right here putting shear on that system. Then when it goes to the west, the upper level low starts disappearing, but then you got that trough coming down, putting shear on it and blocking it, and it can't go further to the north, and it goes further towards the west. And you can see that difference here. So it starts pulling it, and you see that the high pressure expanding out, guiding that to the west. But once it gets away from that high pressure, then it has that chance to go north. All this real estate is open right here, but it gets blocked by the trough, where the Euro sees that trough pulling it further to the north. So now it travels to the west because it's getting blocked and it can't go to the north. GFS sees that as well, but it also takes a little bit northern of a push, but still it sees that it is opening up, chances for it to start getting pulled to the north, and you see it heads west just like the Euro sees, but all of a sudden that trough comes in, and right there, the trough grabs it, and it pulls it right in towards Texas. That could potentially go a little further towards the east. Showing so far rainfall amounts, bringing a lot towards Jamaica. So you're going to get the onshore storm surge, you're going to get the winds, you're going to get the waves, you're going to get all this heavy rainfall coming towards you as well. Also the Cayman Islands, got a lot of heavy rainfall coming towards your way and going towards the Yucatan Peninsula. Now when it comes off, it starts headed towards Mexico according to the Euro, and you can see the 10 days, even the next wave potentially going right towards Mexico. Now GFS is taking it where it's going right towards that Texas push, and then Invest 96L is going to go there as well, showing the wind gusts going right over Jamaica still, going right by the Cayman Islands, so be aware you have some strong winds coming by you as well with the heavier rainfall and the waves. Going right over to Yucatan, bringing very strong winds on you. But as it goes towards Mexico, you can see that it starts weakening down as it goes to the west. Now, when you go by the GFS, a little bit northern of a track. Also northern for the Cayman Islands, northern for the Yucatan Peninsula, which is not good for everybody in the Gulf, and northern towards Texas, bringing you all that heavy winds, all the heavy rainfall. Then with the next 10 days, you can see possibly Invest 96L also doing something over there. Now you can go by the 5 days with the icon showing these just like we would expect in the Gulf of Mexico, it would intensify. Right, again, rapid intensification. Not agreeing much with the location. It could happen. I think it would be a little bit further south. Not agreeing with the location. I think it will turn more like this way. I think it'll start going through rapid intensification once it gets around here. Then start doing a pull in that direction. I firmly believe that. And maybe even keep going in that direction. We do need to watch this wave. It's about to get very tricky. Showing you waves for Jamaica are still going to be very high. Now you're looking at the high 20s as this passes by you for today, going right to the north, showing that the system will be somewhat right over you. Get stronger waves on the northern side as well. Please be aware that it is going to be a bad scenario for you as this goes by the Cayman Islands, bringing very strong waves to y'all as well. We're talking in the 20s, bringing very high waves towards you. As it goes towards the Yucatan, it's still going to bring a lot of high waves for y'all also. I think you're going to have a strengthening storm. I think it's going to be stronger than that Cat 2. But you got 20-foot waves coming for you. You got a storm surge coming for you also. Showing as it goes by the Gulf, it's going to start weakening down and bring less waves over there towards Mexico. Now, GFS takes a little bit of that northern track, showing it could go right towards southeastern Texas as the system comes by you, bringing those 20-foot waves, bringing all that storm surge, and unfortunately the winds also, and maybe going right towards Houston as this goes inland. I think, once again, this could curve a little bit, and it could be a bad scenario. It could go into Mexico. Euro could be totally correct. We need to see what the updates are with this trough, but it could rip and ride right along that coast. That's what I'm afraid of. Still showing there will be some dust involved in that, but we already seen what this storm does with dust. It just blows right through it once it starts intensifying into the higher altitudes. And you can see we still have that big plume of dust going by the Leeward and Windward Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Hispaniola, going by Jamaica, going by Cuba, the Cayman Islands, and all that dust going right into Louisiana and Texas. Look at that big plume of dust that's going to be coming your direction after y'all dealing with these possible waves. That is a lot of dust coming towards y'all. Matter of fact, you can see the newer information coming in now. Expecting it to still be that Cat 2 hurricane, still a Cat 1 overland, not weakening too much, but will go down towards a tropical storm so far. But look at the ensembles now. Look at the tracks starting to show more of that northwestward push. You see that? That is what I'm believing. And I'm believing we will see this go possibly right up the coast, potentially towards Houston. See how it's a Cat 1 before landfall? Now, if this was according to the Euro, still with that trough potentially blocking it, upper level low, putting some shear on it, still, this would bulldoze. And to stay just a Cat 1 for this whole time is not believable to me. I think we will see that northward push going in this direction and potentially curving right towards Houston. Thank you for your time, everybody. I will see you this afternoon for afternoon update. I think we're going to start getting a telltale that we're going to start seeing that curve going a little bit more towards Texas. I really believe we'll see rapid intensification and going right up the Gulf Coast of Texas. I feel it. It looks like it is going to change that way according to the information. We will know more later this afternoon. My heart goes out to all of you in Jamaica, also the Cayman Islands. Y'all going to be dealing with a lot for the next 24 hours. God bless you all. Keep you all safe. I can't say this enough. Please check on your neighbors. Make sure they are all prepared for this. And before I go today, Philippians 4, 6, and 7. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Amen. May Jesus Christ be with all of you over there, keep all of you safe, and be that hand of comfort and peace that you all are looking for right now. I pray you do find it. Remember, all glory does go to God, our Father, Yahweh. I always hope He keeps all of you safe every single day of your life. Please, Lord Jesus, take this storm, demolish it. I think Jamaica has a good hint of what you're trying to say to them. Please get rid of this system. We don't want no lives lost. Please, in your name I pray. Amen.